The last days of Atlantis. In the heart of the ocean, far beyond the edge of known lands, lay the island of Atlantis. Its shores glittered with gold sand, its cliffs adorned with brilliant crystals, and its waters sparkled in a way that no other sea did. Legends claimed it was blessed by the gods, a paradise where wisdom, beauty, and technology flourished hand in hand. Towers of stone and glass pierced the skies. Aqueducts carried water from mountaintop springs to every household, and lush gardens bloomed in perpetual spring. The people of Atlantis, however, were perhaps its greatest treasure. They were not just builders, philosophers, and artisans. They were visionaries, constantly seeking knowledge and harmony with the world around them. Led by a wise council, they believed that their mission was to advance human understanding and care for the gifts they had been granted. For centuries, they lived in peace, bound by a code of wisdom and restraint, remembering always that their prosperity was a gift and that it could be lost as quickly as it had been gained. But even in paradise, ambition can fester. As Atlantis's fame spread, so did whispers of its boundless power. Some in the council began to suggest that Atlantis could expand its influence beyond its shores, to bring their knowledge to lands that lived in what they saw as darkness. "Why should we, who have discovered so much, remain here on this island?" asked Azarian, one of the younger counselors. "Why should we not bring our wisdom to others?" The older counselors cautioned restraint. "Our knowledge is our duty, not a right to claim dominion. The gods granted us our home, and we must respect their trust." Yet as the younger leaders listened, they saw this warning as little more than ancient superstition. They were builders, explorers. They had harnessed the elements themselves. Why should they fear? In the following years, Atlantis began to grow restless. The thirst for power seeped into the city's soul. The great temples, once places of learning and peace, became centers of intrigue. Some Atlanteans believed they could raise the island above the sea entirely. Others dreamed of conquering neighboring lands and bringing the world under one great empire. They began constructing weapons that used the energy of the earth and sky, ancient technologies that only the oldest priests truly understood. As Atlantis's ambition grew, so did the signs of trouble. The skies darkened, unseasonable storms lashed the island, and the earth trembled beneath their feet. Each tremor and gale was taken by the priests as a sign. "We are going too far," they warned. "The gods will not stand for this pride. We must return to humility." Azarian scoffed. "Our knowledge is the result of our own striving," he said. "The earth beneath us is merely material, and we are its masters. We will simply move the island if the ground trembles." His defiance spread among the people, who had begun to lose their fear of the gods they once revered. It was a new age, they thought, an age in which mankind would shape its own fate. Then one night, the stars over Atlantis vanished. The people gathered on the beaches watching in uneasy silence as black clouds, thick and swirling, crept over the sky. Lightning split the heavens, and the ground shook as if it were alive. The priests stood at the edge of the temple, calling out to the gods, praying for forgiveness. But the winds drowned out their voices. In the council chamber, Azarian and his followers stood in defiance, convinced they could still outsmart any storm. They ordered the activation of the crystal pillars, the ancient technology said to control the elements. Bright beams of light shot into the clouds, and for a brief moment, the wind stilled. The people watched in awe and terror, wondering if Azarian's power could truly subdue the wrath of the gods. But the silence was short-lived. The earth beneath Atlantis buckled, cracked, and groaned as if it were tearing itself apart. From the shores, huge waves rose, encircling the island, and the ground split open, swallowing whole buildings and streets. Fires erupted across the city as the crystal towers burst, showering the people with shards of blinding light. Azarian's face was pale as he watched his creation, his grand vision, turn against him. In that instant, he understood that his ambition had brought ruin upon them all. He raced to the temple, joining the priests in their prayers, begging the gods to spare Atlantis. But it was too late. One of the oldest priests, Hesperos, looked at Azarian with pity. "The gods are not cruel, Azarian. They gave us everything, the land, the knowledge, the power. But you saw these gifts as entitlements rather than privileges." You saw the earth as something to be conquered rather than cherished. With tears in his eyes, Azarian fell to his knees. Is there nothing left to be done? Hesperos placed a hand on his shoulder. Only to accept the cons.